Okay, hello everyone. Dark Souls Part 10, let's go! That's right, let's just go. There's like one guy in the comment section of the last video that was like, oh my god, like, just shut up and play. And my response to that, of course, was, this is how I play. I just stop and enumerate on things to myself. It's awful. It's truly awful. Now you'll notice a blood stain in the elevator is already moving. This is because I already started trying to record once before. And whenever this elevator triggered, and I was supposed to be going down, instead she just stood in midair, doing nothing. So I had to stop the video and figure out what exactly... I figured it was something to do with... Oh, hello. Hello. You as well. I figured it had something to do with... Yeah, we'll just ignore that. I figured it had something to do with the cheat table that I have to use in order to get stuff to work. You know, like the Gravelord mod and so forth. But apparently no, I just respawned and it just stopped doing it, so I guess it was just them being dick bags, and that's pretty much it. So, mystery solved. Took me several minutes of testing for absolutely nothing. I didn't even disable anything. Truly amazing. Okay, but that did fuck up the fact that I had my notes on one side. There we go. Alright. Also, I never opened this. Let's do a taste test real fast. Mountain Dew Kickstarter Energizing Mango Lime. Let's do a taste test. Because I need, like, fluids in my body. It's awful. It's awful. Alright. So today we're going to be doing Anne Orlando, obviously. Plenty of things to cover in notes. No need to worry about that. But for the time being, let's enjoy the company of probably a cute name for him. Sergeant Pigglesworth. Yes, that's what his name is. Of course it is. Pigglesworth, no! Enough of your fucking... This is such a cheap-ass little move of his, too. Jumping up in the air like that. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Look at you. You fucking sicken me. And you jump so far back that you can't even figure out how to pathfind back to your stupid location. You idiot. Look how little damage... By the way, I'm using a claymore today. Doing so little damage. No, 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 no. Doing so little damage that it's taking absolutely forever. Get rid of Mr. Pigglesworth. Ugh, Sergeant, how'd you ever get to be a sergeant? I can't possibly imagine you drilling anyone. Maybe he was a gunny. Who knows? Little dickbag. Come back over here and fight me like a woman. Okay. I can tell already this is going to take a while. I'm obviously not going to be using one of my unupgraded +5 whatever weapons whenever I fight on Stone Smoog. But for now, I think it's fine. Gargoyle, Helm, Halberd, Tail Axe. More things I will not be using. The Helm doesn't look too bad, I guess. By the way, I upgraded a bunch of shit as far as armor goes, so I should have more options in that regard. Today, Freelit is wearing her saucy new Baldur's top thing with the same shit that she's been wearing the whole time, the leggings. So that's what we're wearing today. I look so good. It's great. Oh no, no, not again, not today. Okay, this is supposed to be dragon scale? Oh boy. Soul of a Proud Knight. I'm not tired of looking at that. I mean, it's been useful. I mean, I've like cheated in souls here and there so that I can catch up to certain things, because that's not really the point of this playthrough. But they have been moderately useful, I guess. Not really, they haven't been useful at all, it's just kind of been an annoyance. But if I actually was using them appropriately, it would be totally useful, probably. Not really. Okay, so, lots of notes to go over today. First, let me concentrate on this jump. Doesn't matter how many times I do it, always need to concentrate. Ooh, I wonder if there's an ambush in waiting. What do you guys think? Okay. No, no ambushes here. Oh, hello. Hello. He'll never suspect that I'm out here. He can't see me at all. Oh no, this is gonna take forever. What if I can just... How do I do it? It's crazy! Okay. So long, budget KKK member. It's fine. It's fine. Really? We're doing this today? Yeah, today's gonna be special. Go ahead and throw your dumb little thing. I know you're going to. I really hate that their attacks come out that fast. It means that even if they completely whiff on their dumb little dagger thing that they throw, they still get to attack you regardless. What is going on out here? What the fuck is going on? Is that the shadow of them up there, or was it something that's like behind the map boundaries that I didn't get to see? Are we just gonna be doing this now? Are you just not okay? What a brave man. Okay. Do I have something that I can chuck at him like a coward? Do I have any coward daggers? I do have coward daggers. I don't have too many of them. I do have a shit ton of black fire bombs, though, because I bought them all from, what's-his-face. And it looks like I won't even need them. Yay. No. You can't figure it out. How's he doing it? I can't see his movements. My Sharingan is useless. Good God, I'm terrible. Okay. I guess I should actually get to my notes. Alright, notes. From last episode, apparently my shield idea exists in Skyward Sword. I did not play Skyward Sword. I watched someone play it. Like, I didn't care enough to get a Wii U at any point in history, nor should have anyone. And in the process of that, I decided, yeah, I'll watch someone playing it. And watching, I don't remember who it was. I just remember it being the most enraging thing in the world, because he played like me in some ways, and that he would get completely distracted by other things, and like he would get to a door, there's obviously the path forward, and then he would get distracted, ooh, shiny thing, and run off after the shiny thing, and then complain, how, I don't know what to do, it's not telling me what to do. So I guess unlike me, even though he did that, he didn't go back and re-explore things as I do. Oh, look at you. Aren't you a sweet little angel? So special. Such a darling. So, I don't know, something about watching enemies fall, especially since they remember that skeleton down in the catacombs that we found? The one that kind of freaked out that one time? They do that as they're falling. Like, you don't get to see it too much. Because obviously, most cases, they just fall like a few feet and that's it. But they totally do this, wow, 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 wow! So it's really fun watching them flip out whenever they're falling like that. I get a big kick out of it. Way more than I should. Oh, come here, sweetie. Come here, my precious cupcake. Oh, you love being stabbed so much. Give me that throwing knife. There we go. I'll use these. I'm just getting more and more of them. I'll be wealthy in throwing knives soon enough. I never go down this way. This is the path back. So I don't think there's actually anything down here because you're supposed to jump over to it. Yeah, so you're supposed to jump over it to from here. But that's what that looks like. Yeah, it's well, I still have to go over there because there's like one chest over there. So we gotta go see what it is. But anyways, yeah, my shield idea apparently is in Skyward Sword, and according to people, it actually works very well. Unfortunately, it could not fix the rest of the game, which is awful. Which is awful. So I thought that was interesting. So apparently, my idea does work. Yay for me. Ugh, still awful. I shouldn't get any more of those. Okay. I do like the Kickstarters. Those little Mountain Dew things. I see you. He's trying to cheat like I do. But that's inappropriate. Only I get to cheat. Well, technically they are also cheating. I'm just telling them that they have to cheat. This part of the game, see. It's okay whenever I tell them to, but otherwise, no. Do as I say, not as I say that you do. Whatever, I'm right. Give me those throwing knives. Alright. So, let's see. Some other questions. We have plenty to go over, but I'm just trying to I didn't really organize them correctly. Yeah, I think these shadows were just from them on the rafters. I didn't really organize them too correctly, though. So, let's see. Can gods use humanity to de-hollow? And, of course, the answer to that is no, because gods don't go hollow. But, oh, look at that. It's a scythe that's not a scythe. I've already been over that once before. No need to go into Bardiche territory once again. But gods cannot do that. But it did get me thinking. What if Gwen used humanity to de-hollow, right? Like, it would heal him. Here's my... Well, hold on for a second. I'm going to talk about this statue for a split second. I do find it interesting that the only thing on these statues is, like, the gold on her. Otherwise, she's completely alabaster, plaster, or whatever, porcelain. Of course, that's modeled after what we thought that ancient statues look like, Greek, Roman statues look like, but it turns out they were just gaudy piles of shit that were painted after all. But it is interesting that they do have the gold on there. It really makes it stand out. It's a good choice, but it is kind of weird. Anyways, let's look up her dress for old time's sakes. That she still has those fake prosthetic legs going on. Still looking good. Still looking good, baby. Let's see if I can actually make that. Okay. So, if Gwen actually used humanity to de-hollow himself, because he is the one god that we've ever seen that actually is hollowing, and only because his, soul is intentionally being burned away because he's linking himself to the first flame. So, if he actually used one of those, then I imagine it would heal his body. Because this is what humanity does. That's what the Dark Soul does. It would probably heal his body. But in the process, it would not restore his power that he has lost. Like, we've been over this before, how... Really? Come on, guys. Everyone, you know what? Fuck it. Come on. Just everyone look at me. Come on, everyone. See me? Look at me, guys. Look at me. They're not gonna come. There is a phantom up there, though. Oh, really? What a dick. Everyone in this game's just a dick. Okay, so... We've been over this before, how nightmarishly strong Gwen actually was. Let's go down here and look at this before we turn. It's not going to be anything, though. We've been over that, so it wouldn't restore his full power. It wouldn't restore any of his power, actually. But it would restore his body. If you ever wonder what this looks like. There. Really? Oh, God, I really want to murder you. But if you wonder... Son of a bitch. If you ever wonder what this looks like down here... Looks like jack fucking shit. It's just a fucking wall. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I'm gonna kill the shit out of that one little goblin. So, I do find that interesting because Gwen would, in theory, return to being Gwen. He would no longer be crazy, unless he had just gone insane. I don't think he went insane. I think that was a product of his soul being burned away. So, he would sort of be reborn as a person, I would imagine. But if he had already lost that much of himself, that he was kind of halfway, kind of hollowing, because that's why he attacks you, presumably. Maybe. We don't really know. You would think that if he had enough of his cognizance left, then he would actually say something, right? Like, welcome! You are going to challenge me. Please light yourself on fire. And Framp is like, yes, light yourself on fire. And there's like a big how do you do sort of going on, right? But maybe not. We don't know. Okay. Well, unfortunately, both of them are way too stupid to do anything about it. Great. Okay, so... I'm going to assume that Gwen actually was in the process of being hollow. That is, he was crazy enough that he was now craving souls and, the typical hollow stuff, right? Typical hollow motivations. So, you give him humanity. He flips his shit. Wow, humanity. I love cramming this into my dick hole. And so forth and so on. He reverts back to being Gwen, as we know him. Right? He doesn't gain his power back. But I kind of wonder if you do that to someone that is already sort of hollowing out as a person. I really hate that move. Particularly because he abuses it so much. Then if you do that, then do they actually... Oh my god, you are such a little fucking coward. Then do they actually return to being themselves? Like, if you... Wow, holy shit, that does a lot of damage. that if you actually give a hollow, like, let's say a real, not even Gwen, just, if you give like a hollow, oh my god, I fucking hate you. Oh, God, Christ, you're fucking annoying. Oh, God, I fucking hate those things. Deal a shit ton of damage, have absolutely crazy range. In addition to that, they also have that fast startup animation where they deal damage to you like the very second that they choose to. Just, I want free damage. Oh, I got it. I'm special little baby Miyazaki. Okay, come on. I gotta get rid of one of you little dick weasels. Unfortunately. Wow, that blocked quite a bit of damage, actually. Will you stop jumping around? That's what I hate about these things. It's the constant goddamn jumping. Let's go try the kill coward over here. I didn't even hit him. This is so fucking stupid. Hold on, let's do a run back real fast. Because I want to actually parse these guys and get them to split up. This is getting really stupid. Oh, go ahead, throw. Oh, I'll get him. I'm stupid. I love to lick ball sacks. My mouth is covered in pubic hairs because I love licking wieners so much. That's what he said. He's a bad person. Not that everyone that does that is a bad person, but it certainly paints him as being potentially a bad person. I'm just telling you the rest because I know that he is. Because I'm your boy. I'll tell you, I'll give it to you straight. Unlike him, he licks ball sacks. Okay, ball sack licker, come over here. Oh, you're so strong. Oh, so scary. Such a scary ball sack licker. Such a tiny thimble boner for ball sacks. Yes. Come on. God's sakes, what was I even talking about? Something like Gwen. Oh yeah, do they actually... Yes, I know. Oh my god, will you stop attacking? Do they actually regain themselves? Because you think potentially, here's another thing that could happen. They might actually become like a new person. Because if you give, like, let's say it's the dawn of time, right? You give a hollow, a soul, a lord soul even. What dictates exactly what they are and who they are? Bye-bye, here. What actually dictates who they are? Because they're not reawakening to the person that they were meant to be, right? They're just, and it's not like the person that they are is inside of the soul. They're just being themselves. Like, they become an entirely new person. So if someone actually loses all of their souls and is wiped clean as a person, if you give them more souls, excuse me, like if a human loses all their souls and whatnot, and you give them another fragment of the Dark Soul, do they sort of get reborn as an entirely new person? Ah. Oh, thanks for queuing that up, Dark Souls. Really appreciate it. You gonna queue? Oh, yeah, great. Do they become an entirely new person, or do they return to the person that they were? You'd think that they would need at least a little bit of who they were to be able to sort of resurrect as that person, right? That's sort of my internal logic. My tail! Boo! Oh, well, too bad. You were consorting with Ballsack Licker over there, so you don't get any sympathy votes from me. Fuck you. No, my tail! Aw, you're everything, bitch. Lick on my nutsack, why don't you? Okay, so... The interesting thing about Gwen is... It's possible that he has lost enough of himself that if you actually gave him humanity, it might... We've talked about this in the last episode, or whatever episode, the last part, that maybe he would... Ugh. Well, let's just wait for him to come. Oh, wait, he can't even get through there. That's right. What about you guys? No, here comes... We have a volunteer, and it's going to be the Gravelord Phantom version of the big giant guys. This sword is not going to cut it. I'll tell you that right now, especially against these giants. Because this is... Remember how it was Bad Touch Town in the last episode? I don't know, this is like... We've gotten past touching. This is like the heavy petting bad. This is bad pet, is what it is. I know bad petting doesn't sound as good, but that's what we're up to at this point. Thanks for queuing that up again, Dark Souls. Wouldn't have a good time without you. I'm so glad that the auto-tracking in 1 is not as bad as it is in like 2 and 3. I've actually been replaying 2 recently. Scholar, anyways. And boy, howdy, does the tracking get kind of crazy sometimes. Sort of like that. Good thing I can break his poise. Wonder how many hits it actually takes, though. Let's test. Oh my god! Oh! Well, one nad's been sucked, so here comes the other one, I guess. Let's just see what he does. Are you? Yeah, of course you are. Come on. Let's do the same thing. Let's take you to the corpse of your friend. Since neither one of you can seem to learn your goddamn lessons. But anyways, yeah, Gwen, it's interesting because Gwen might either become himself again, or he might actually awaken and actually become a human, which is really bizarre to me. Because as we've covered, what dictates what someone, like, if someone either is a god or a human or a witch or so forth and so on because of the nature of the soul. Really? Are we really doing this? You are very aggressive, sir. I'm actually kind of impressed you're actually leashing this far out. This is actually kind of crazy. Oh, don't start that. Oh, here, yeah, I knew it. Knew one of those fucking cowards would actually make his way up. As much as I would be thrilled to actually unleash a big hose of vengeance on that one little dude, because I fucking hate those stupid demons. They are so fucking stupid looking and obnoxious that I can't afford to just waste all day. Remember how in last episode I talked about how I was using like the Black Knight weapons and so forth and so on because I didn't want to use basic weapons because it would turn all the fights into a big slog and force me to start running through the game unnecessarily fast and just skipping content instead of actually engaging it? That's what's going to happen right now. That's exactly what's going to happen. Because otherwise it's going to take absolutely forever. Let's watch the guys die here first, though. Maybe they'll bring me a present whenever the elevator comes back down. There'll be a prize waiting. Or maybe it'll be a typical Dark Souls moment and there will be absolutely nothing. Because why would anything good happen? Actually, it seems like if they did leave anything, then it would just be suspended in midair. Yeah, it would be one of the little gold drops one way or the other. Why would anything good happen? But anyways, hold on. I've covered that before about how the souls dictate what exactly you are. And the reason why Gwyn is a god is because he holds the Lord Soul of Light, so forth and so on. So what if that had become so weak, and I would talk about this in regards to the Fair Lady, what if he got so weak that the humanity that you donate into his body overpowers that light soul element, although it's a Lord Soul, so you don't know if that's even possible. Who knows, right? It'd be interesting if he actually became a human at that point. Like, I imagine it doesn't really matter one way or the other, because we see that whenever people ingest humanity, then it doesn't really seem to affect them other than their physical size. So I would like to think that the soul that you have doesn't really dictate your behavior. Look, his walk cycle's so stupid! Look at him! He's so stupid! Da, 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 off the ball sex and go! Love to like those ball sex! Oh my god, I hate you so much. Oh my god, I hate these goddamn moves. Fucking auto-tracking wide-ass fucking arcs. Just the worst. If I stop to heal this little dick weasel... Oh, I thought for sure the moment I stopped he was gonna do that. Let's just run to the... Oh, I fucking hate you. I want to kill you so bad. No! God, I just want to give them murder. Let's give them all the... Just gift wrap a big box of murder. But I can't. Because it would take fucking forever. I can't even do this slowly. Like, I actually have to burst thrust... Well, no, I'll take that back. If I can get past these dudes, I should be able to stop briefly. Oh my god! Are you fucking kidding me? I pray one of them does not throw one of those stupid lances at me. If it does... Okay. Should be okay, in theory, because they... Oh, no! No, dude! No! That is not okay. We are not having the fucking giants parading themselves along the fucking rafters. Come on, man. Oh my god. Christ almighty. Love this game. But anyways, that wasn't even the dude's question in the comments. This is something that oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, this is the right place. This is something that provoked a thought in me that I thought would be super fun to explore. But just an interesting thought. It doesn't have an answer, per se. It's just kind of interesting. The idea, can one soul overwhelm another soul? Doesn't matter if it is a Lord soul or not. Pretty neat thinkings, right, guys? I made a thought for a thunk. Great. Okay. So, other question. If gods were so reliant on humans, how come they didn't just start farming them like cattle? And, alright. And my answer to that is, they did. That's exactly what human culture is. And that's, again, I've been over this once before, that Dark Souls plot sort of has the Demon Souls plot sort of just reused because Miyazaki fucking loves this. About how the church is actually a lie. I hate church. Or what, I don't know what's up with him, but this is just a common thread with him. That the Church of Thurland, the Way of White, and so forth and so on, are deceiving people in order to manipulate them into worshipping the gods. Even though there's nothing really that special about the gods. They're basically just humans, except their souls in particular are powerful right now, because it just so happens to be the Age of Light. Because the bonfire, the first flame is... Oh my god, will you stop? The first flame is just at the height of its power right now. So, human culture is, right now, basically just, let's farm people, is what it is. That's probably more so for the sake of manipulation. It's not really... It's not like 4 bonfires or anything, because the bonfires don't really affect the gods too much. Like, the bonfires do help in sort of dealing with the undead curse. Please don't. He's just walking through them. He just walks through them. He just walks through them. That is not okay. Okay? Alright? That's not cool. It's not cool that he's doing that. Alright, come on. Oh my god. Actually took damage from where... Good god. Please go off the edge. Please let me walk around you. Sir! There we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, great. The game just crashed. It got so angry that I bypassed that problem. That it just crashed the game. Fantastic. Okay, I love doing this, because anytime that happens, it means I can't get the video out that day. Because I have to record it, and the fact that the video gets corrupted whenever that happens means I must re-render that video file, or else it is completely 100% unusable. Like, it won't even load. So as a result, it attaches several more hours of waiting to render the damn thing. Anyways, you guys don't care. Church of Thurland, right? Alright, that's it. Just, humans were being farmed. I just wanted to be cute. That's my answer to that. Isn't it cute how the fact... They didn't need them for the bonfires. I'll just get this thought out. By the way, I've been waiting here like... Hold on. Let me rehash all this. I loaded in this goddamn thing, and because it crashed, it didn't say the fact that I killed that dude over there. So, and I didn't have time to, like, sit up to record or anything. Because there's other shit that I had to turn on... or before I start recording, or else everything just explodes in Diarrhea Doo-Doo Town. So I actually had to run over and parry him again. He didn't fall off the edge this time. Then I had to parry him again, and he still didn't fall off the edge. Then I parried him one last time, and I managed to kill him with 3 parries in a row. And then he fell off the edge, and dropped an item. It's great. I love it. Dark Souls, everyone. Dark Souls. Hold on, what's my... Dark Souls! What do you gotta do? Isn't that right, Freela? Okay. I've been standing here the whole time, so probably every enemy the zone that can even sense me the slightest is probably just beyond this fog. Let's find out. Oh, look at that. They're being nice today. And that guy over there, for some reason, can't see me? Let's just hug this column for a bit. Oh gosh, there's so many of them. Okay, looks like we're good. Look at that! We actually had an easy time of it! Hey, buddy. Good thing I'm playing offline. It would be the worst if I just suddenly got invaded by a million people. And in the process, since the game is all fucked up, it would have been real bad. Like super bad. Because we still don't know exactly what the effects of people invading are. You saw that it happened one time and he was like attacking random things. And I had no idea what was going on. So I just imagine, like, Anne Orlando of all places. Okay, anyways, to get this final thought out. Gods don't really need people necessarily for the bonfires. Although the fact that they're there is fine, so because it sort of fixes the undead problem. Because it gives them a place to respawn. That's mainly it. It just sort of has a mild control factor. Otherwise, we see this from, like, the Homeward Miracle, which I don't think I even have. But if there aren't... Yeah, I don't have it. Since if there are no bonfires, then it seems to be implied that the undeads just start respawning at their homes. And that is basically, like, their actual homes. Like, they're places where they're like, they wake up in bed next to their wife, and they're like, snur, snur, or whatever. So, actually giving them, like, a bonfire and saying, alright, just build the bonfire, like, in the middle of a lake or something. Like, on an island in the middle of a lake. That way they'll respawn there, and we won't have to worry about it. But if you didn't have humans in the first place, you wouldn't have to worry about the undead curse. So, more the thing with humans is that since the gods were never actually able to control them, like, even if you went to war against humans, there's shit tons of them, and they multiply like crazy. The gods, presumably, we don't know why, this is sort of to be hinted, don't seem to reproduce that much. And whenever they do, they don't have too many kids, and it takes them like hundreds of years to have another one for some bizarre reason. Humans, though, we don't have that, because we like putting our wieners in wet holes, yeah. And ladies, they like other stuff, but you know, there's no need to get into that, right? So you just can't control the population. You just can't. So the main purpose of the whole Church of Thurland and the Way of White was basically just a way of trying to get humans to be as much under control as they possibly could. Otherwise, it would just be crazy nonsense 24/7. Speaking of which, hello, Solaire.
Oh, there you are. You've been quiet.
Oh, have I?
Days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You've left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you.
Mm-hmm. He's so nice. I don't think we've really even interacted much with him on this particular playthrough. I just summoned him the one time, I think, to see if he would still give me a sunlight medal. And that's been pretty much it. Don't rest of the bonfire, we're talking to our friend.
You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, dear me, pretend you didn't hear that.
People really do enjoy upbeat people. I kind of don't in real life in some ways. It depends on the person, because a lot of the times I see it as being false. Like they're fraudulent people. It's just a way that they interact with everyone. So even though they're being very nice and personable with you, I know that none of what they're saying actually means anything. Because they're not actually... You're just like a canvas to them. They're just projecting to see themselves. Because, oh, I'm a good person. I'm interacting in a pleasant way with everyone I meet. So, like, I would much rather see someone just kind of be in a slightly bad mood, but be like, sorry, I'm in a bad mood. Like, I'd much rather be around someone that's being true to how they actually are, than to be around someone that's constantly acting like they're in a good mood. Which is why whenever you meet Solaire, and you eventually sort of get that whenever he starts talking about the fact that he's near giving up, he doesn't know if his quest has any meaning, he feels like he's actually being a fool, and he actually opens up to you, that's what people actually care about in regards to attaching themselves to his character. This whole rigmarole of him, oh, bet you want to, like, come in my butthole, or whatever he's doing, I don't know what the hell that's about, but whatever. Then that's fine, but it's whenever he actually sort of breaks down and you start seeing the real him that you actually form the lasting attachment with him. Pretty cool.
You really
Chatting.
are.
Yeah, we're romantically entwined, Slayer. It's fine. Okay. Alright. Let me stretch out my back. Oh, gosh. My body has been just fucking ruined for, like, the past week. Oh, gosh, I actually did pull... I pulled muscles just sitting here. Don't I look a lot meatier than Slayer does? Like, he's not standing up right now. Come on. Stand up. Okay. He's not... He was standing up right now. Here we go. Don't I look much meatier than Slayer? Just look how much lady meat I have. God, you're fabulous, Freeland. Thanks, Slayer. Sorry.
You really
Yeah, I
are
sure am. Don't mind the fact that I just kicked you in the face. It's fine. Alright. So, for the rest of this episode, I'm not going to fight on Sun Smoke today. Even if I get to the fucking gate, I'm just going to be like, guess I'll just stand here and talk for 50 hours. It's going to be one of those things. We'll save that adventure for next time, right? It's going to be a good one. Let's see if these dudes actually see me. You know what? I think the reason why they are not aggroing is because the model for the staircase is actually a solid object, and it's just translucent to us, the player. So their line of sight, like their vision cone, isn't actually hitting us. So that's probably what's protecting us. Pretty neat, I think. Okay. There is a topic... Damn it. Timing is all fucked up. I got really used to, back in the day, farming this one guy and just walking up and parrying him. But it usually takes me a couple times... God's sakes. It takes me a couple times to get back in rhythm. Or like a million times. Usually I'm using the better pairing weapons. And I don't have a muscle sprain inside one of my arms. Okay, let's not do that this time. Oh, yeah. But the topic that I was supposed to be talking about in a prior part was how do you, I think I've missed this like 2 or 3 times now. How do you prevent the Dark Souls games from becoming a rhythm mini game like I was talking about? Yeah, you can't really backstab these guys. Alright, let's just resort to... There we go. That's weird, didn't even play the Paradox. But how do you keep the game from becoming a button-pressing mini-game, like I was talking about? And just to reiterate, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in later games, especially Bloodborne to some extent, especially Dark Souls 3, really, come on, man. Maybe I should change out weapons. Because this damage is not cutting it. But in Dark Souls 3 especially, bosses especially are so incredibly aggressive and they just never, ever stop attacking. They do that so much. Let's actually close doors. Because otherwise things will see me as I'm walking through the halls, and we don't want that. But in Dark Souls 3, I'm trying to organize my thoughts. But in Dark Souls 3, you do sort of end up with that problem. Bosses are a little bit too aggressive. And that's because difficulty. Dark Souls needs to be difficult. We heard that from Bandai Namco. Make the game harder. People love it when the game's hard. Hard, hard, hard. Hard, 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 hard. Hard, 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 hard. And that's the reason why bosses are like that. God, come on. There, finally, gosh. That's the reason why bosses are like that. So, the rhythm minigame element of it comes from the fact that, over time, you sort of recognize that sort of almost musical quality to the sound that the bosses make whenever they're attacking. And you get into this rhythm of, like, they'll go into their attack pattern of swipe, 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 swipe. And you just sort of end up memorizing that. So it becomes a game, of course, as I said before, of press B now, 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 now. And it just does that until you finally get to a point where it's like, okay, this is like the 5-second frame where I'm allowed to get him 1 hit. God damn it. I do that way too fast. They do so much damage because of this mod. That I have to back off every time. God, don't do that. Ugh. That's why I don't switch to two hands whenever I parry. It doesn't really work too well. Yeah, you do that. Come on. If I'm doing... I should switch to another shield. There's no reason why I should be using this to try to parry. I mean, I can obviously do it, but, you know. That's very common. I've talked about that before in Dark Souls 3. How you can... In Bloodborne, too. Bloodborne's really bad about it. How you can actually parry something with perfect timing, but you still take damage. Because the window for actually landing the parry is way too tight. So you sort of have to do... They want you to do that at the last second, but they didn't really think it through, so you end up kind of getting the shaft one or the other. A mistake on their part. I think it's safe to say. Can't remember if there's any phantoms in here. Alright, looks like we're good. So how do you fix that? How do you fix the problem of it being a rhythm minigame? Pretty simple solution. And the solution is to stop having everything be hyper-aggressive. Like, don't have things attack non-stop. Because if they attack non-stop, then you start to see through the animations. I wonder if there's an enemy in here. Do you guys think there's an enemy here? If you start to see through all the animations. This is almost completely unrelated, but I've also thought similar thoughts about Demon Titanite Soul. No, it's not going to be a Havel Scare, obviously, because of the item randomization. Let's see what this is first. Wow, Leo ring and a cage ring. Oh, cage ring. The cage key. Isn't the cage key... Isn't the cage key distinct? Isn't that only for... No, it is. Okay, I can use the elevator now. Alright. I couldn't remember if that was just for Logan or not. But in horror, of all things, this is also a common problem. Like horror games. If you expose the player to your, like, monster, like, let's say that, wow, that's actually pretty nice. I don't need it, but still. That if you expose your player to the monster, like, let's say it's like a Nemesis-style game, right? If you expose them to your enemy too much, then the player becomes completely desensitized to the actual, like, scare factor. It no longer becomes scary, because they're just so used to dealing with it. And more specifically, if you have the player die too much, and this isn't just for horror, but if you have the player die way too often, and you keep hammering in, oh, there are consequences to you dying, but you just do it all the time, and it seems very unfair to the player, they stop caring. Because they feel like they no longer have any input over what's going on, so as a result, there's no involvement as far as the player is concerned. It doesn't matter to them one way or the other. So, that's why you don't do that. And, the same sort of thing rings true with, like, combat animations in Souls games. That if you have bosses or enemies in general that attack way too often, then you start to see through it, and they stop being enemies, and they start being, like, just... They start being animation chains. You stop seeing them as being actual... Wow. You stop seeing them as being actual enemies. And that presents a problem in and of itself. Hope nothing attacks me on the sides. Should be okay, though. Let's just get away from the doorways. What the hell? A tag button decided that it didn't want to work for a split second. Oh, I can see those hands, those glowing red hands. We don't want that. Good thing he can't get out of that door. He can still swing his weapon, though. Damn it. Fuck that up. That was me. Oh, don't do that. Now I've got to heal. Don't you dare. Ah, the delay. That was me again. I got angry and just wanted to hit him. I knew I shouldn't have done that, but I just wanted the feeling of hitting him in the face. You know, I am gonna switch weapons, because I'm tired of that feeling of, well, everything's way better than me. I need to show them up like 6 times in a row for it to actually work. I am getting tired of that. Let's go to Black Knight. So I don't think I've even used this. I don't need to have this on here. And let's actually switch off from a Boulder Shield to a Bit Shield. Yay, Bit Shield. Okay. So the solution to that problem is basically just stop doing it. Just stop creating the problem. Because the only problem is the fact that you... Alright, I didn't kindle shit. The only problem is that you are... See how much more damage that is? The only source of the problem is the fact that you are making the mechanics of your game too transparent. Because you are forcing the player into that horror problem of... You know, oh, you died, you died, you died, you died, or here's a monster, here's a monster, here's a monster, over and over and over again. And so it eventually becomes meaningless. In the case of Dark Souls, you see that animation so much that they stop being enemies. They're not enemies anymore, they're just moving hitboxes that have repeating animations. And it makes it very transparent and mechanical and completely lifeless as a result. So you fix that by just calming the goddamn bosses down. Just like what's like a fast stupid Priscilla's dagger or something. Yeah, like even like bosses in like Dark Souls 3 will sometimes attack even faster than this. But they're just I remember I was watching before the game even came out. I was watching a stream of a Japanese player fighting God, what's his name even? Wow, I actually cannot remember his name. But the infamous boss at the end of Not Anderlondo #1. Guy with 2 swords. God, I can't remember because it's just so hollow to me. I can't remember. He's like a major character supposedly in that game, and I can't remember what the hell he is. But anyways, I was watching that, and everyone in chat was like, wow, this guy attacks way too fast. Like, this is crazy. Because the streamer was basically just never being given an opportunity to respond. For a while, it looked like you just couldn't do anything to the guy. Oh yeah, I never did that. For a while, it looked like you just never had a chance to actually attack him. So people started to think, is this like a Bed of Chaos thing? Is this some sort of novelty fight where you're just not allowed to participate? But then eventually everyone's like, oh, no, it's just stupid, that's all. So that problem resolved itself. What is it, guys? Pontiff's Sullivan? Is that what his name is? I can't remember. But yeah, that's how you fix that problem. Just calm the fucking bosses down. They don't need to attack that much. Dark Souls 1 was fine. Dark Souls 2 is more or less fine. For the most part. Even Dark Souls 2 doesn't really do that much. Ugh, I don't want to go in there. Even Dark Souls 2 doesn't really do it that much. The bosses in Dark Souls 2 are more or less okay. Are you? Yeah, you're gonna get angry. Okay. It's kind of funny. That guy has like an aggro range of nothing, normally. So watching him actually get angry from seeing you is kind of interesting. Alright, come over here. No, you can't even... You can't even. What is going on with that one move? So that's the solution to the problem. It's a very simple solution. Like, it doesn't entail every single element of the game. There's a lot of factors that are creating that issue. It's not just that. So if you have some sort of contention with that answer, then that's probably what it is. So don't worry about it too much. Alright, there we go. Why don't I need to do that? What in the world? What in the world? What are you doing? My R2 decided to stop working. I thought it was going to be cute. Oh, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's how you do that. Okay. And that was a question I've been meaning to get to for quite a long time. I could probably use that Great Club. I really look forward to upgrading a bunch of new weapons. Because it does get a little bit too... Like, right now, I'd say I'm probably dealing a little bit too much damage. But before, with the Claymore, I would say I was probably dealing too little. Because I was having to parry those guys, like, 3 times in a row. Otherwise, I would have been there slapping at them from here to Kingdom Come until the cows come home, and so forth and so on. Other United States Southernisms. Don't have something that's really in between yet, though. Alright. So, something that I asked you guys to do last time was to explore the problem of mimics with me. This is either going to be a long source of conversation or it's going to be a very short one. I'm not really sure yet. But as far as going at me. Just going out for a stroll. It's just me. I'm going out. I was trying to sneak up on this guy is what I was trying to do. Really? You're just gonna cheat? Oh, there's a bunch of phantoms down here I didn't know about. Yay. Love Dark Souls. Love you. I love you, Dark Souls. Alright, maybe they'll actually parse themselves out. And I might have a slim chance of fighting back against the Silver Knight Menace. God damn it. No. No, no, no. Come on, come on. I was trying to look at my notes. That was a mistake. Okay. Alright, this is the one with full health. Although if I parry him... Oh, 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 where did you come from? No! No, you stay in there. I like you like this. Okay, we'll let them hang out there for a bit. Because they need to calm down. They're in the timeout room, alright? How did he must have gone all the way through the entire map to be able to get to me. That's the guy that I spotted originally. Man, he thought he was being super clever too. Unfortunately, it means I can now never open that door ever again. That door is cursed from this point forward. A shame, too. Actually, have I ever... Yeah, I did that already. Okay. Alright. But yeah, alright. We were discussing mimics last time. I sort of reached the conclusion of just get rid of mimics. Just get rid of them. Because they don't really add much of anything to the game. I went over this in my last part if you want a more detailed thing to go over. But the problem was that the entire appeal of mimics was just that one-time event of, oh wow, this thing was an enemy and I didn't know it. And you get that one time. And after that, it's pretty much it. Like, you just... After you realize that there are mimics in the game, then it just becomes a game of, well, gotta check this thing, gotta check this thing. I only have 2 of these left. How many more mimics are in this game? This is like, it's just these 2, maybe? No, there's one more. There's one more later on. Oh, come on. He re-followed me through the whole game. I'm actually kind of impressed. Or maybe he gave up and actually just came back. Oh, wait, no. Never mind. Hey, how did you heal? How did you do that? You're such a bad boy. Bad boy needs parry. Yeah. Baby. Okay. Die, sir. Thank you. Amazing. Alright. So, we had that problem. And I asked you guys, can you think up solutions to this problem? And some of you were just like, shut up, Plague, I love mimics, don't take mimics away from me. I married a mimic, how can you be racist against mimics, so forth and so on. Probably get some more of these. I like using them. I probably wouldn't actually have any problem dealing with the mimics, I just like doing this. It's fun to me. I like it! Don't take this away from me. So some of you were like that, but we can just ignore those because... Not because, you know, you're wrong, necessarily. Although you are wrong, because of course you're disagreeing with me. So, obviously you must be wrong, right? But because, you know, the de facto default point that the game is already in... Is there a phantom beside me? Oh, don't do that early. Don't do that late either. No, there wasn't. Okay. I was too busy thinking about, oh no, is there a guy behind me? And I completely started to ignore this guy. Yeah, it will be unlike, okay. So some of you did have some ideas. One idea was make mimics completely undetectable. That is, something attacking? Sorry, I'm listening. No, huh, it sounded like something was swinging at nothing. It's probably the demon up there breathing is probably what I was hearing. But some of you are like, yeah, just make them undetectable. And that could amount to Well, it'd have to. It would have to amount to the Mimic not taking any damage from your swings. Or if it did, you wouldn't be able to see it. Because otherwise, the second that you saw the damage, then the whole idea of, well, just don't make them stand up and animate, would be completely meaningless. Because if you saw the damage number, then it's already going to tell you one way or the other, whether or not they are responding. Okay, let's try to not make any noise in the process, or else the other one will also aggro. I know you saw me, sir. Gentlemen, proceed forth. There we go. Okay. It's so weird that one attack. So that was one possibility, just making it so that... I guess they would have to... They would either have to be invincible to your attacks until you try to open them. Otherwise, I guess, like, use what I've been doing, using the talismans to open them. And you just have a very sparse amount of them. Or they would just straight up be invincible while you're hitting them. Or, sorry, or else the other way around. Or else they would just not... their health bars would just not appear. And you would probably, I guess, have the rubbish system in addition to that. Sure, you can hit this chest twice, but if you do, it'll turn into rubbish. And sure, you can hit a Mimic, but it's not gonna... And it'll do damage, the Mimic will not wake up, and it also will not show its health bar until it actually does wake up. So I guess that's one potential solution. But of course, that doesn't deal with the problem of them being done random. So some of you also suggested in addition... Come on. Also suggested in addition to that, make all Mimics not completely random. In the context of... I don't know if it could be every chest in the game. Because there's some chests in the game that you would have to place in locations in which you could not conceivably fight anything. So it would be incredibly unfair if that chest got chosen to be a Mimic. You get what I'm saying? So that's probably not... Let's actually go this way. Because the other one's probably going to aggro too many enemies at the same time. Well... Nah, I'll just do it anyways, because I'm an idiot. I want to have fun. No, I did go the other way last time. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Okay, so... Come on. Is he just not... Is it going to be another one or something? Oh, okay. And that one's not angry. And this one's not angry this time. Oh, now he's angry. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm very upset that you backstepped. Okay. So, it would have to be random in the sense of there are set amounts of them. There are set locations that a Mimic could conceivably spawn. And I guess the problem with that is that you end up creating the same problem of... I know exactly which chest can be a Mimic. So I won't... Ooh, dead that one. So I will not attack all of them, because if he uses that rubbish thing that I was talking about, then that wouldn't work one way or the other, right? And I can't see their health. So I guess it would just turn into a thing of, if I have Lloyd's Talismans, then I'll just bring along this many Lloyd's Talismans and just use them on every single enemy that could conceivably be a Mimic. Okay, the other ones don't pull. Right. And you do not aggro right away. Okay, good. I'm paying attention this time. So I guess... Oh, dude, come on. It's not one thing, it's another with you guys. You're just so bad. Where'd you even come from? No, no, no. It's rough goings for old Plague, isn't it, guys? Oh, I've got it bad. Every day's just the worst. Invincibility, bitch! Oh, love that Dark Souls logic. Oh, he's parrying someone. Oh, really? You fucking held it? Bitch. He actually held his animation. I think you could even do that in this. By the way, that's another thing in games like this. I think it does it in 2 mainly, where characters, enemies will just like have a hammer over their heads, and they'll just hold it above their heads forever, and they'll just chase you around until they're in a perfect position where you just can't do anything about it, and they hit you in like a 5-frame attack animation that is 100% undodgeable. And the whole logic being, well, you just gotta move out of the way of it. I hate those. Those are awful. Also, do not much care for those. Anyways, so yeah, you end up with that same problem of just bring along a shit ton of Lloyd's talismans, memorize exactly, like, your first run-through, of course, it's going to work to some extent, but you're going to assume, well, every chest is potentially mimic, so you're going to have that same problem, so that doesn't really solve anything except for repeat run-throughs. What are you doing? I can hear something running towards me. I think it's actually the Silver Knights that are inside this room. And they stop running. Yeah, it has to be, because I can hear them running anytime that I move. Which is super kawaii, but I don't have much tolerance for that. Plus, I need to open... Oh, shit, what am I doing? I need to open up that other room, which means that one way or another, I need to go down here. Yes, I am correct in saying that. Okay. So you end up with that same problem. So I don't think that's really much of an effective solution. Plus, you have the whole problem with Lloyd's talismans. And I've talked before about how annoying it is to have the logic of this item is extremely limited in numbers, so you have to use it wisely, so you just end up never using it at all. So I don't much care for that as a solution, but I could see a developer attempting to rectify it that way, but it's just kind of dumb. Some of you did say, and it got me thinking, that you love the idea of a mimic because it punishes for players for being too greedy. And I was thinking along the lines of, what value does this have as content? When I talked about that last time. What value does this actually have as content? Because when it comes down to it, that's more the point of all these things. Like, stop worrying about how do I balance mimics or whatever. How do I, like, balance covenants that typically have had problems? How do I fix this? Don't worry about fixing it. Worry about whether or not it was good content in the first place. Oh, what a cunty thing to do. No. Come on, man. And I've already aggroed this one. Come on, go around. Actually play fair. Go around. I can see your spear. You're not falling anyway. Come on. Fucking coward. God's sakes. Just embarrassment. Your friend over there just can't even react because he's so mortified by your behavior. Honest. So it did get me thinking. I do see that as being value. Like, game content value. Like, I said it was because of the one-time reaction of, oh, crazy thing, I didn't expect that. But there is the additional value of, do you risk something for the sake of greed, of obtaining something? And in theory, what are you doing? And in theory, that's what crystal lizards do. You can't really afford the lock-on. I've learned that over the years. In Dark Souls, if you attempt to lock on to something as you turn a corner, a lot of times the camera will just freak out and you'll look in a direction and your eyes can't register, where am I looking? What's going on? So it ends up screwing you over, so you just have to do it without a lock-on at all. Really weird. So I do agree with that there is value in it being that mechanic of, you know, can I get away with being this greedy? Which mimics don't really do. Like, I know they're treasure chests, so in don't do that. So, in theory, you know, it's like, oh, there's treasure inside. Do I risk opening the thing? But that logic doesn't really fly with mimics. That's not how mimics really work. That's not how treasure chests really work. I also view a distinction between, like, chests to me are chests to me are like exploration. At that point, you're punishing the player for exploring and figuring out, oh, what's in this thing that's been carefully placed in a room. That's not really greed. That's like saying that fighting enemies to obtain souls is greedy. It's not greedy, you're just playing. It's just exploration. Now there's something down there, right? Just yet. No. Yeah. That's the room that leads to the bedroom, that's right. I very rarely go down that one. But I could see an implementation of mimics that does not work that way. Ooh, geez. That red phantom outside the window. How'd you get in here, buddy? Okay, but just to try to gather my thoughts, I know you guys hate it whenever I do this, but... So, randomizing chests doesn't really accomplish all that. Making it so that you can't really see how much damage you're doing also doesn't really accomplish that. If you remove Lloyd's talismans entirely, or however you actually deal with a chest that you know is a mimic, or you suspect strongly of being a mimic, then you're basically just saying, well, open it. Open it, dumbass. Like, what are you going to do? Just, you either ignore it completely and forgo the experience entirely, or you just don't, or you just pay the price. Like, that's the only way of waking it up, is causing damage to yourself. So I don't really care too much for that. But the idea of actually... And by the way, I also don't really like crystal lizards, because the way that they place them usually is they'll like put a crystal lizard in front of a cliff, and then they have the crystal lizard run off the cliff in an effort to try to trick the player into also running off the cliff, chasing it. But that also presents the problem of once you know that it's doing that, and you go back to get that crystal lizard, then there's still no way of actually dealing with it. Like, there's a few in Dark Souls 2 that had that problem. Of, you got this big open area, there's a crystal lizard, I'm thinking specifically of the one that's in, like, a Huntsman's Copse. And they removed it in Scholar of the First Sin because of this problem. Of, you see it, and you know that it's a trap, but you still can't do anything about it. The knowledge already that it's there does not fix the problem. There's no clever way of saying, oh, I'm not going to run in and be foolish. Therefore, I will do this other thing that will allow me to, like, do a plunge attack on it or something. That way I can kill it in one hit and forgo the trap. You still don't get that. And that's a crystal lizard problem that's existed since Demon Souls. I just don't like crystal lizards. I think it's cute that they're there, but ultimately I think that they cause way more problems, especially whenever the things that they drop usually are just, you know, garbage. Aside from the one Titanite slab that I found, apparently. So, using them that way, I don't really like either. But I guess I'll discuss more of that after we get rid of Sigmund here. Or Sigmire. Oh, God. Or else we're not going to make any progress.
Whatever can be done.
By the way, how does he know that there are enemies inside of this room? The door's closed. Maybe he got really... Look how low on the ground these doorknobs are, by the way. That is really weird. I know... What do you... Maybe we're just random footsteps. Oh! Sorry, some older-fashioned doors sometimes would have them this low, but whatever. I guess he'd look through the keyhole.
Let me guess. Were you repelled by the silver...
I'll say.
Don't be ashamed. Tis the fate of vanguards like you and I.
So he recognizes you at this point of also being a great adventurer. Which is kind of funny, because in both of these cases, I guess he assumes that you've made it here on the same merits that he has, because he doesn't know yet that you're the one that actually solved both of his issues. As far as he knows, it was just random circumstance.
This is quite a fix. We'll need another 3, no, maybe 5 bodies. Quite a fix indeed.
He's just not much of a strategist, is he? Like, he's ruminating so hard, but it never occurs to him, like, why don't I use, like, an alluring skull or something to bait one of them out at a time, or... You know, he doesn't employ any sense of strategy whatsoever. He's just, how can I brute force this? Which is kind of interesting. Kind of makes me think that maybe at some point... Do you guys know anyone like this? Like, someone's dad or something? Or maybe you. That is not really a blockhead, but just very well-meaning, like a good person. Not like the smartest person in the world, like does a clever thing once or twice, is maybe not physically imposing or whatever, this depends on the person. But they're just not as capable as they would like to believe that they actually are. Like, what are those things? That's why I guess Sigmar seems like such a real person to me.
This is quite a fix. We'll need another 3, no,
5 bodies.
maybe 5.
I can kind of see him in his other life, like assuming that he was in the military at some point in Katarina. And, you know, I can imagine him like being like just a soldier in their military and having everything solved by a general. Like, he's not a general, obviously. So maybe he was just like a basic, maybe even higher ranking foot soldier, but he just never is really used to solving. Okay, I know. I know you're angry about me standing here and talking. You'll have to deal with it. But he was never actually the one to actually come up with the plans that actually solve the issues. He was just more of just the guy that was launched forward to face fuck the enemy. It's kind of the impression I get with him. Really? We're doing this too? Did you open the door? All of them. All of them are like this. This is just the worst. They are super angry about me standing here and talking. Tell you what. Let's cool you off with some fire. See if that does anything. Sweeten your disposition. See this, Sigmar? This is how you do it. You got problems with a bunch of enemies in a room? You don't need a bunch of bodies. You don't need 3, 5 bodies at most. Nah, you just need a closed door and a shitload of firebombs. See, that one's blocking, which is super cute. This is how you do it. So, back to our mimic problem, briefly. I do like the idea of punishing player for being greedy. I don't think that the Crystal Lizards handle that problem particularly well. Okay, this one down. Probably get that one this way. There we go. I didn't want to do that late. I should have done it in the very last half of their health. There's no reason for me to waste this many of them. There's 2 of them.
This is quite a thing.
Well, it's 1-on-1 now. Actually, it's 2-on-1. We can do it, buddy. Come on. It would have been really cool if they had bothered with that. Scripted in like if you actually like kill 2 of them, and there's just one left, then he'd be like, "Oh, we can do it now." Oh well. Anyways, that's probably just too much. Okay. Gotta make sure it wasn't this one. It was just those 2 in this room. All right, good. All right, come on, bitch. Is this your fruit bowl? Yeah. Memories. Good memories. Of fruit bowls. And fucking. Yes. So yeah, I do like the idea. And someone did point out that Neo has good mimics. And I do know exactly what you're talking about. In Neo, if you don't know, oh boy, this garbage. Sorcery Hush. Oh yeah, this is, okay, there was one in Sin's Fortress that was different, because the one that you actually get in Turdling's little room is the normal set, that's what it is. But Neo, if you don't know, has quote-unquote mimics that are not treasure chests, they are walls. And it's blatantly obvious that they're there, like, say, it's like this wall. We would be like on the other side of the room, we walk in, and we see from like the other side of the room, this thing has like big glowing red eyes. And we walk up to it, and it doesn't do anything. It just sort of glares at us like, I'm a wall. I don't much care for you you things that move around. I like to be stationary, or whatever is going on with him. And you get a hint. You get a hint as far as what kind of emote that you're supposed to play in front of it. And let's say that, like, I forget how it works exactly. It seems like it's the color of its eyes are slightly different. I can't remember precisely. And your emotes have, like, color codes to them. Like, some of them are aggressive, some of them are passive, or whatever. And let's say that its eyes were glowing yellow, and this was a yellow emote. You would do that in front of it, and it would shut itself off and be like, oh, okay, you're alright. Because of its personality, which is super cute. And it would just vanish, and you wouldn't have to fight it. And the fact that you have to do it right in front of the mimic means that if you get it wrong, it would, like, collapse on top of you and start attacking you. So you would take damage for that fail state. So that's a pretty clever way of doing it. It's a super cool enemy, and I think it's balanced, but it doesn't really hit upon the 2 things that I was talking about. about the whole, wow, I didn't know this thing was an enemy sort of thing. And it also doesn't hit upon the whole, it doesn't hit upon the punishing the player for being greedy thing either. You can sort of rationalize that it does because, oh, you want an item behind the wall, so you're being greedy, but you get what I'm saying. What?
Oh ho! What's on your mind, friend? Wait.
It's amazing how he didn't notice any of this. There's probably a reason why the Dark Souls 3 version of him is has so much more agency behind him. I guess it might have been, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It might have been because he thought it paints him as being a coward, that he doesn't help you whenever you're obviously in the midst of combat, which I can appreciate.
Gallantry entails great risks. Next time.
Although personally, to sort of deal with it, I would have him help you 1 or 2 times. But most of the time, I would probably have it so that he's contemplating, how do I get past this series of obstacles? And by the time that you actually solve the problem, you're so far out of eyesight that he can't do anything about it one way or the other. He's just not aware of it. That's probably most of the time that I would do. Because the whole point of his character, once again, is that he feels inadequate about who he considers himself to be as a person, his self-image, as a result of finding out that you are the one that's been solving all of his issues. So if you make it so that he participates every single time, then it gets rid of that feeling, and it doesn't make sense anymore. So you can't do that one way or the other. But if he, like, helped out here once he saw that you were in the midst of a fight or something, that would be fine. Like, if it happened once or twice. I know, fine, I'll proceed. So, yeah, Neo-Mimics, they're not really mimics exactly. They might be called mimics for all I know. It's probably some crazy Japanese name that I don't care about. So it sort of solves a problem, but also doesn't. Sorry, I have to concentrate whenever I do that. So, a way of fixing mimics that combines the whole, wow, it was this thing the whole time, in addition to punishing the player for being too greedy. By the way, some people have also said, maybe make it so that, let's say that this is a mimic. Make it so that you can't attack, like, if you attack them, it does no damage. You can't use Lloyd's talismans on them. So you have to open it. But whenever you start to open it, and it does an animation where she bends down and she starts opening the thing, that instead, they didn't really specify it this much, but this is the impression that I got. Then maybe there's like a short frame where its arms sort of pop out, and it's like, I'm a mimic, where you can like roll away from it or something. Sort of like a trap in Dark Souls 2. You know how there's like little crossbows and shit inside of it? That's sort of like that. Where you have an opportunity to escape damage. Otherwise, if you're not fast enough, then you end up taking damage in the process. But that sort of also has that same problem that Dark Souls 2 traps had. Where, sure, there's traps in this thing. And let's say that you also randomized it, so you didn't know every time. But every single time that you open a chest, you would go through the same thing of, well, is this one going to be a trap or not? Then you immediately hear the little click of it being a trap, so you're like, okay, roll backwards. And the problem solves itself. So, that sort of works. It's a little bit more fair, but it still has the same issues. But I appreciate the thought put behind that. And it's a very simple, elegant attempt at a solution, which I really like. So, kudos to you for thinking of that idea. It's still not perfect. And I'm not saying that I have a better idea. Oh, no. Ah! Ah, that was a lot of damage. I love the audacity. I have to roll because I can't really tell if its tracking is gonna connect or not. Come on. Oh, God. That move where he rears back. That one move I got hit by that took off like 75% of my health. That one's the worst because of the delay associated with it. Also has amazing tracking on it, which is super weird. So I don't know if I have a particular elegant solution myself. But I just wanted to go over those answers and sort of establish this is why they might work and might not work. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just, from like a design perspective, it's interesting to explore these ideas. Because if you don't explore the ideas and you just implement them in the laziest way possible, of, whatever, just fucking put them in, shut up. If you do that, you're just a bad designer. Like, you're not really resolving anything. Alright, attack. There we go, break his poise. You can do this as long as there's one of them. As long as he's not having a shield up. Yeah, you can see why maybe the maybe the aggression works the way that it does in these games. Just maybe. Oh, excuse me. And nothing goes up here. So as far as my own solution to that, I kind of imagine it would have to be something. I give this some thought, but I spent way too much time having to go through and collect notes and do prep work for this episode, so I didn't have time to come up with a solution myself. I think we have cleared out everything aside from the main room, so let's go do that now. But I would like to combine... It's a system that doesn't exist yet, would be my solution. It would have to combine everything so that it does capitalize on your greed. And it would have to be random. And in the process of thinking about this morning, I actually thought, you know what's a great example of this? And it's the chameleon ability that's in most of the games. More specifically, the one that is... Oh, right. God, this stupid demon in here. I don't know if I can deal with him, though. He's going to have a lot of health. He's probably going to one-shot me just from going in there. Well, it is right here, so I guess it's not a huge problem. But let me get my thought out, or else I'm going to interrupt myself. I even lost train of what I was talking about? No, just thinking about that. Bloodborne's chameleon. I don't remember if it's called a chameleon. It's not. But in Bloodborne, like, the problem with chameleon was that, let's say you cast chameleon, you turn into like a statue or something. And you like put yourself right here. Like, oh, I'm a statue. The player doesn't know I'm a statue. But you know there's not supposed to be a statue here. So, a player that has been through that level like one time, maybe two at most, is going to recognize 99% of the assets in the map. And know instantly, oh, that's something that shouldn't be there, it's a player. As long as they know that the chameleon thing exists. It's the same sort of issue. So in Bloodborne, they solved that problem by making it so that you only turned into one thing. And there were the little multiplayer messages that were all over the ground. So you know the orange soapstone messages in Dark Souls? It would be like if you turned into those. And since those are random, basically, like you see them in front of certain like objects like chests or whatever, since they are randomized... yeah, I forgot what I was doing. Since they are randomized, it works. You never know if they're going to be an enemy player or not. There's no way of detecting it, really. You still see them, and you can know, oh, is this message going to be an enemy player? They're probably not going to be because you see them all the time. But, you know, that's a very elegant, like, nearly perfect solution to that problem. It works very well. I was actually super pleased that the developers of Bloodborne actually thought of it. I thought that was very clever. That's a very good thing that they did. Oh, really compliment Bloodborne. Yeah, I compliment Bloodborne. Like I said, God, Bloodborne's a good game. I just personally don't really care too much for it. It has its problems, especially in multiplayer, though. But you guys get the idea. Okay, let's reset for a second. So that got me thinking in regards to mimics. Like, it has to be random. It has to capitalize on the greed of the player. Which right now it's not really doing. God. I think the worst thing about these guys is the fact that their attack animations cover such a huge... Like, look at that. It covers such a huge amount of ground that there's basically just one place that you can stand to be relatively safe. And if you actually get to that spot, usually they will leap up in the air and do a grossly unfair attack in which the hitbox of the animation of them hitting you lasts a bit too long. So even if you dodge it, a lot of times you'll get hit one way or the other. It's kind of shitty. Okay. So you have to combine all those elements. So I guess if I had an idea, it would have to be something similar to... It would have to be something like, Do you guys know what vagrants in this game are? I imagine most of the people watching this are going to be Dark Souls fans. So you probably should know, most of you should know exactly what a vagrant is. But for those of you that don't, a lot of you may have never even seen them, because they are very, very rare. A vagrant is a little bitty enemy that sort of looks like a little itty-bitty crab. I think I've seen one. I know I have video evidence of it being on a stream in one of my streams of Dark Souls, but I can't remember if it's been in any of the playthroughs. They are created usually whenever a player loses a whole bunch of dropped items or a whole bunch of dropped souls or so forth and so on. They're created in that circumstance, which is why they're so rare. And they will appear randomly for like one player or another. So whenever you see them, you would have this instinct of, holy shit, it's one of those. Those have a ton of souls in them. I need to kill it right now. So you would obviously rush up and try to attack it. And vagrants in this game do fight back, but I'm just using this as an example. That maybe if you had something like that, and this guy has way too much health, but they were way more common. Wow, he didn't respond at all. I wonder if poison works on him. Oh, that's the reason why he didn't attack. He just was lumbering over here. That if he had something like that that was a bit more commonplace to see. Just trying to wait for that. There we go. That were a bit more commonplace to see. Just wanted to see if that would work. If it does, it's not doing anything. Oh my god, look at that! Look how much fucking health that was! That is unreasonable. I had to heal 3 times to deal with all that damage. That is crazy. Although if I can clear him just one time, that'll be enough. There's not much of a way for me to cheese him out, unfortunately, though. And nothing I have can be used with pine resin or anything, unfortunately. If it did, it would just barely eke out the same damage that this thing does, probably. Come on. There we go. So it'd have to be something like that. Like ever so often, maybe enemies would spawn things like that. That if you rush over to them, sort of like a crystal lizard, then you would get a bunch of free resources. But maybe ever so often, it would instead spawn a mimic. Look at that! Full health! That one move, full health. That it would spawn something resembling a mimic. Like, it would pop a bunch of, like, horrible, creepy hands out of its tiny body and wrap you up, deal damage, and then you would have to fight it normally. So, if you had something resembling sort of a mimic system, maybe that could be a solution. Because it does capitalize on the player's greed. It's truly random. It does result in the... It does result in a, oh, this was actually a mimic the whole time. But it does have the same problem of... I know every single one of these is potentially going to be a mimic. Plus, if it's something that's scurrying around and you have to kill it one way or the other, you're going to attack it one way or the other. So how do you deal with it if you can't attack it? These are all problems with this item. It could be just be something that you run up and you have to collect or something, but I think that still kind of misses the point. So you guys see the problems with all this. Again, I'm not purporting that this is a perfect solution or anything like that, but just from a design standpoint, these are all the issues that you're going to be running into. I probably shouldn't even bother fighting this stupid demon. He just deals way too much damage. This is taking too long. I could probably eventually clear him, but this is going to take forever. I'll do this. I'll clear out the rest of the... I'll pick up my soul pile, clear out the rest of the area, and then go back to him, because I'm not going to do the bosses right now. That's how I'll do it. So, as far as a design standpoint, interesting discussion, interesting way of exploring that problem. I think mimics are a good sort of challenge to try their work around, because there's a lot of problems with the whole idea of mimics. potentially there's a very good experience there as far as mimics go. But they all result in sort of similar problems. You could, like, make other kinds of... Like, here's a problem. Mimics have to be something that you have to interact with. And there's not many things in this game, or just games like this, that you interact with. There are enemies. There is, like, treasure chests, random drops, messages, and things like doors or ladders and so forth and so on. So when it comes to actually finding things that can become a mimic, that's probably the source of most of your problem. It would have to be something that's to make it feel truly random. Like the problem with messages, the reason why it works for messages in Bloodborne is because you so infrequently fight other players that the fact that another player can be a message might be something that doesn't really occur to you most of the time. Plus, most players won't use that ability too much. So as a result, that system works perfectly. Because you still get that surprise factor. And there's technically no way for you to know one way or the other, but you're not really in much of a danger from messages in the first place. Come on, make it... Sometimes, like ever so often, it's just a nightmare trying to get that roll just right. Let's sit here for a second. So it'd have to be something truly random, and I think that kind of comes down to you would have to make it like just about anything. Like the little vagrant sort of ideas, that would be fine. I don't think I can hit them here. There's 3 of them is the problem. I can probably hit 2 of them, which would stun them and give me a chance to flee from my wretched life. I wish I could just drop bombs. You know what? Like, you can throw them, but you can't just drop the damn things. Let's actually try something. Because I have a special present that I've been saving just for now. But this may not even work, because it might be too far of a... I don't think you can actually aim down this much, so it's not going to matter one way or the other, unfortunately. Yeah, you can't even lock onto them. See, this is as far down as you can go. So, as amusing as that was going to be... And it was going to be very amusing. It's just not going to work. I'm sad now. I'm sad, guys. Okay, so... You guys get the idea. You can make, like, monsters. There are... Like, these guys could be a mimic in some bizarre way. Like, maybe if... enemies leave behind corpses. And... sometimes the enemy isn't actually dead. Like, they do die. You get the souls and everything. And they... Or maybe you don't get souls and you just don't notice. Maybe that's what it is. The enemy dies, like how I'm about to die. Man, I had no chance at all. Like, I die in that circumstance. They didn't even really stun them. They just completely ignored it. That I die... And the enemies normally be like, oh, the souls come rushing in, and they dropped an item or whatever. But maybe it's something like the enemy dies, and they, like, have a parasite. Like, that's the internal lore logic. They have, like, a parasitic entity inside of their bodies, and you never know what enemy is going to have it. Maybe even, like, one of the bosses in the game has a low chance of getting it or something crazy. You don't want everything to get it, especially not a boss. And... it drops the corpse, you don't get souls or whatever the resource is from it, and it shows an item on it. So you're enticed to run up and grab it as fast as you possibly can. But if you pick up the item, it's like a little, like, anglerfish ball that's like attached to a mimic that kind of rockets out of the X dimension from this enemy's corpse and attacks you. So it's truly random. You're punished for doing it. You're punished for being greedy. Ugh, God sakes, I hate that move. Because it looks just like that one. So I think that would probably, of all the ideas that I've mentioned and gone over, would probably be the one that's closest to hitting all the elements that I was looking for. Because I don't think there's too much wrong with that one. if I thought long enough, I could probably think of something that's wrong, but from a design standpoint, I think that's probably the best one that I've managed to poop out my mouth so far. Okay. So, there's that. That's my ultimate solution to the mimic problem. That's probably the best way you're going to do it. To make it something associated with various kinds of enemies. Have it be truly random, so forth and so on. There you go. Mimic solved. Until someone's in the comments is like, oh, this one thing you didn't think about that completely demolishes everything that you thought that you had. And I'm like, oh, right. Which will be fine. I'm not infallible. Okay. So, ignoring all the mimic stuff, I think we covered that enough. You guys let me know if you think highly of my idea or not, or how shitty it is. Speaking of shitty ideas, someone in the comment section mentioned that the Dark Souls comics were shit, which they are famously shit. Especially that one that Eli Roth is the one that's responsible for. He completely ignored, like, the entire premise of the game. It's just like, oh, another opportunity to make shitty, Guro fiction. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I wanted. Why? Yeah. Oh, right, because I needed that drop. And now they're all going to be very angry. I wonder how far up. Oh, they can't. Unfortunately, I remember Nick had this problem in his playthrough. Nick Bitterbits, this is his channel, Bitterbits, also has a... It's not an item randomization, but it is a hyper aggro thing that he ran. Go check his out. His is complete at this point. But he had this problem of those guys down there, if you stood too near that little banister down there, they would start to attack the giant blacksmith. And I think he even died in the process. Which even, like, I was watching it and I was furious. Because no one wants to see the giant blacksmith die. Because he is such a special boy. Maybe I can get away with tossing bombs at them. Maybe I can get away with tossing bombs at them. Let's do that old chestnut. And maybe... Okay, good. That does not hit me. Okay, we're good here for now. Okay, we can probably do this for a bit. They have the ability to chuck shit back at me. They don't seem to be using it too much right now, so I think we're okay. This is how a true warrior fights. There we go. It's one of them. This is actually pretty fun, just chucking... Because there's... It's really annoying that they're even doing this in the first place. Oh, so it's actually super satisfying to just fuck them in the mouth and they can't do anything about it. Except for that one jackass. Oh, I got you! I'm a special princess. Oh, are you? That's what special princesses get. Oh, your friend's dead. What are you gonna do now, bitch? Can't do shit. You're gonna die the same way they did. Except in a way more humiliating way. You and your scrotum feasting brothers. Mmm, delicious, isn't it? Okay. But yeah, it mentioned that the Dark Souls comics were shit. And they famously are, especially the Eli Roth one. Where he's just like, oh, I fucking love drawing gore and people's eyes being cut out and torture. He's one of those dumbasses. Eli Roth is such a... he's just a piece of human shit is what he is. Don't go see his garbage-ass movies. He's a dumbass. Can't stand people like that. That fetishize things like that. I'm not gonna go into that. But those comics are famously shit. So the actual question is, which of the stories of the various games, as it's told, like the actual story, not like things that you just make up, like the thing that you're actually playing, which one would actually adapt the closest to actually being a comic, if you actually translated the story?
Who are you? Forge your weapons.
So I guess that includes Demons, Dark 1, Dark 2, Dark 3, and Bloodborne. And the Surge. No, not the Surge.
Tis no good, but forge.
Man, I'll tell you, that's the... He summed up the story right there, didn't he? Talk is no good, forge is good. That's the story of every one of these games. You said it, buddy.
No one home.
I like how... I guess Dark Souls 2 thought it was like a big thing of, what's under the giant's mask? So it was like a big reveal to them whenever they actually revealed that, oh, it's like a big butthole. In Dark Souls 2, you can actually find... Like, they didn't know what it was going to be. And you can actually find in one of the later levels, it's like a dead model of one of the giants, and it still has one of their beta faces. And it was like a big, dumb, like, shark mouth guy. You can find it online pretty easily, I imagine. But you could tell that they were going through various iterations, like, well, what should it be? It should be something interesting. And they went from dumb monster shark mouth man to butthole face. And the butthole face also doesn't really make any sense, but they were like, oh, maybe it has something to do with, like, humanity in the Dark Soul, because hollow, and you can see that shit all through Dark Souls 3, too. Like, it's fucking stupid. But I like it whenever they just have masks on. They look neat. That's all they really ever needed to be. You didn't need to answer that question. Okay, but which of those games would actually work the best? I don't need to do that. I need the purchase items. Which one of the... We can finally get Twinkling Titanite, which I don't really need... Because I think... Yeah, I fully upgraded at least one weapon that used it, so I didn't need to worry about that too much. Would like to have a Giant's Halberd, though. One might drop, but one might not, so we're good on that. Do need the giant shit. That way I can become legend. I won't be wearing all of it, but... Assuming that we get, especially Ornstein's shit, then that'll look good to be able to have the giant helm, to be able to combine with that. This is my favorite set in the game. It'll be nice to put it on her. That's not even a word. Coming soon. For a theater near you. Alright. So as far as all the games, in a way, it's not necessarily a question of which of the stories is the best. It really isn't. Okay, it's not down there, good. Because, huh, look at that. Fashion Souls ahead. I can use one or two of those, probably. The chest more likely is probably the only one I'm going to be able to use from that. It's not necessarily a question of which is the better story, because some of them are okay stories, but would not translate well into comic form. Bloodborne has like a good setting and would translate well into panels. But it doesn't really have a story. It has a setting, and you're trying to discover what the setting is. Like, what happened. But its actual story does not really exist. Like, even the shit about... Gosh. Even the shit about, I don't think I could get him to survive. But if I can, I want to summon Slayer and take him back. What if I could take him back to himself? Now, he would be gone. I remember doing that. He would be gone. But taking back to fight that demon, that'd be fun. Okay, but I do want to try one thing. Aha. This probably won't work. Let's see first. Okay, good. I wanted to see exactly how far up it's going to be before he starts hitting those. Okay, that one does... Oh, jeez! It does hit me, doesn't it? That was rough. I won't lie. Won't lie, baby. Okay. No. I'm not going to take from right there. See if I can exploit this so that I can hit him, but he can't hit me. What you can do... Ah. Come on. Okay. Oh, oh, oh. There it is. There it is. I can do it. Yes, I did it. Yes, I'm a genius. I'm so good at Dark Souls. I'm amazing and beautiful. Oh, come on, you sweet, beautiful baby. Come on. Oh, don't push yourself back. Damn it, because I moved up. Because the arrows are heat-seeking in that stupid Dark Souls way. Damn it, now I lost it. Because she was stepping backwards. Ah! I'm gonna get it one way or the other. This is my personal challenge. Sorry, guys. But which one would make the best story? Bloodborne probably wouldn't make a great story because there's not really much content there besides just exploring the backstory of what exactly happened. Wow, that was a bad one. Yeah, there we go. Demon Souls. Demon Souls would probably be fairly okay. But, God. But probably also be a little bit generic. Have to do it. I should do it whenever that thing is about to hit the railing. There we go. Oh, I'm kind of sad that he died already. I wanted to waste more time. Oh, well. I guess I'll just have to play the video game. I actually, because of Dark Souls 3, actually thought, oh, there's an item over here. And there wasn't, of course, because this is reused content. So Demon Souls might be okay. The problem I would see with Demon Souls, primarily, is it would probably revolve mostly around, not Oscar, for God's sakes. What's his face? The Prince. Prince Alon. It probably revolved mostly... Yeah, they're both going to do. It would probably revolve mostly around him. I thought they might try to attack through the railing. It would probably revolve mostly around him, and especially if it's like a movie format or something. Although it's comic format in this case, so... There we go. That's the good stuff. It prevents you from rolling, too, which is not the good stuff. Wow, did you see that? He, like, jumped, went over this railing, and then off the side. Yeah, tracking is not a problem in these games at all. But that's kind of generic. Like, his story... Like, I do like him for the most part, but his story is kind of generic just because, oh, I'm the prince, and oh, I'm so, you know... the way it presented to me, the way I see it, it would be kind of generic. It'd just kind of be boring. Ooh. Yeah. Let's open this up. That was my plan the whole time. I didn't make a mistake. I just needed to come down here. Even though I'm going to have to rush past both of them again. And that won't be good. So Demon Souls might be okay. But it would probably have that problem. Why am I doing this? It would just... It creates more problems. The other one's going to see me. Why would I do that? I'm so used to doing it. Now he's going to be super angry. Oh, such a fool. Bona fide fool. Damn it. Come on. There we go. I actually leaned backwards. I was trying so hard to move out of the way. Okay, these guys have so much health that they're probably going to heal in the process of me trying to do this. I'll give it old college try, though. Yes, 2 out of practice of doing that. Really? Come on. Oh, for God's sakes. That was fucking stupid. Dark Souls 1... Dark Souls 1 would be okay because most of its focus is actually on minor characters. And you could explore that in a chapter format in a comic pretty easily. It would probably make an awful movie, though. Oh, excuse me. Probably would not make a particularly great, like, movie. Because you wouldn't really be able to track it. And there's no overarching, like, theme or anything for a single character to go through. So that probably wouldn't work. In a comic format, it would probably work pretty well. Dark Souls 2, its primary core story is kind of just a dumb mess. And its characters aren't particularly interesting. Probably wouldn't work too well. Not to just shit all over its story, but yeah, it probably wouldn't work too well. Dark Souls 3 has the same problem where its sub-characters aren't particularly good. And the core story is just barely there, and it's mainly just about, go get the prince to do his fucking goddamn job. Both of them. They're just the worst. And it's pretty much the only thing that story's about. So 3 would probably be pretty garbage. 2 would be garbage. Bloodborne would be okay, but you would have to create too much content. Like, you couldn't just translate the... No, don't! Again. I hate that move. And now you're gonna... Yeah, I knew it. Missed on my roll timing. cut it out. Such a naughty baby. You see that? His animations got confused, so he was like trying to wield his bow as an actual weapon. He was like move swapping. What a bastard. Okay, let's go around this way to pick up my soul pile to make this a little bit more family friendly. Then I'll go back and fuck around with that demon to finish this shit off. So I think when it comes down to it, it would probably be demons would be a good enough slot. Demons would be okay. Dark One would probably be the best as far as comic format goes, but would probably not be particularly good in any other format. And Bloodborne would probably be the best source material to draw from in terms of doing what you want to with the setting. So if you were making... I don't think Bloodborne would make a particularly good movie. It's good for, like, experiencing it. But as far as telling a story, it'd probably come across as being too generic. Or being too much about, look at this cool shit! And it wouldn't really come down to much of anything. What was it? Oh yeah, this guy. I forgot what I was doing. I really wish I could summon Solaire for this. That would be hilarious. Maybe I should try to do it one or the other. I should use these souls to level up. Let's, yeah, okay, let's do that real fast. Let's level up. And be a good boy, and actually, because I need some time anyways. And we'll just do it this way. So, probably that, if I had to rank them. Yeah. Demons, Dark, and Bloodborne, pretty good. Bloodborne would probably be good for making a comic in which you don't have to worry about the source material. Dark One would translate into a comic pretty well. Demon Souls would probably translate the best in terms of, like, just making anything. Like a comic movie or so forth and so on, but it might come across as being a little bit too generic because it is fairly generic when it comes down to it. So, that's your answer to that, probably, if I had to guess. By the way, no one asked this question, but I was thinking about it when I was playing through 2 recently. This is not a complaint, it's actually a compliment. I was actually thinking about what my favorite covenants have always been, and this is going to be a question that you guys can answer. This will be my last little thing. This is my homework for you guys. Is what is your favorite covenant? And I was thinking about it, it's like a lot of the covenants just don't work particularly well. There's some that are fine, like they kind of function. There's been a lot that have stood the test of time just in terms of it works. Like the entire... Sometimes it's not even tied to a covenant, but the entire invasion and mechanics is just something that's been default for so long. We're not doing that. That it's so simple that you don't really need to worry too much about it, so it just kind of works. So I can see people saying, oh, you know, the Dark Wraith Covenant is my favorite or whatever. But that's not really tied to a covenant, so I don't know if that really counts one way or the other. But I was thinking, in 2, I always felt like one of the best covenants, and I don't know if it's my favorite, in any of the games has been the Bell Ringer Covenant, or the whatever it's called exactly. I can't remember off the top of my head. And it really works very well because it greatly incentivizes you to use the Covenant. It's pretty short, unless it's your first time through, so it's not too much of a trial. It's always going to be very active. And the fact that it gives you chunks, Titanite chunks, makes it one of the better covenants, because you always have a reason to go use... Excuse me. You always have a reason to go use it because of how incredibly easy it is to use that to obtain them. It's going to take a while to get all these to 250. 1, 2, 3. 10,000 left. I don't really have much use for it, I guess. What are how many of these stupid... Hold on. What are these stupid things I have lying around? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 5 minutes. You guys are going to love it. Okay. So I think that's a very good covenant. I really like that. I think that's a good sort of standard for... I'm not saying it's like the greatest thing that ever was, but you always want your covenant to have good incentives. And some people incentivize themselves, like they just want the experience, like, I love the idea of the sort of Blue Sentinels Covenant. They just implemented it in a very stupid way by ensuring that the only people that you could actually summon into were people that were wearing a specific ring, which the very second that everyone heard that whenever Dark Souls 2 was being released, 62,000 is what it was, they said that's an awful idea, that Covenant will die day one. And that's exactly what happened. It died day one. Then 3 came out, and they just did it again. They just didn't learn. They had the same exact problem. So I don't know what it is about FromSoft. They can't pull their heads out of their asses sometimes. So I had the exact same problem. So I love the idea, but the execution was awful. And some people love the idea of something so much that it isn't about it. Like the Invasion Covenant is a good example. Or like an arena-based one. Where, you know, I just want to fight in an arena, and it doesn't matter to them one way or the other. So it doesn't matter really how you design the Covenant or what its rewards are, because the experience itself is the actual reward. And that's fine. That's fine. You don't necessarily need an amazing reward. But you also don't need Covenants competing with themselves. Like, you don't want one Covenant that's like, this is the PvP, like, the Mad Phantoms in Dark Souls 3 have almost no point behind them. Because there's already a PvP Covenant. And there's already a Helper Covenant in the form of White Phantoms. Or not even really a Covenant, just a system. So why would you ever actually summon in a purple? Or why would you ever be a purple instead of a red? It's one of those things. That's a case of Covenants competing with one another, a mechanic competing with another mechanic. You can't be both of them at the same time. And they both mechanically have basically the same exact function. You're being summoned into someone else's world. You never needed that Covenant in the first place. I like being purple. Like, that's my thing. That's my jam, right? I like being a purple phantom. But the whole mechanic of, oh, they're crazy, they could betray you at any time. That's cute, FromSoft, but if you are the host, why would you intentionally summon in a purple? There's no answer to that. It's just a circumstance of, well, maybe if they don't have a white or gold to summon in? Like, a gold is another example of that, where it's competing, I guess. But since a white phantom is just standard... What if I could get him with the old... I like that word. I thought for sure I was going to be hit being an idiot like that. Yay! But they don't directly compete, necessarily. It's more like being a Sunbro is basically just a super version of what you're already going to be doing one way or the other. So that's not really competing. There's a very careful design when it comes to Covenants. But the Bell Covenant is a very particular one in that I don't know if I like the idea of it being in one set place. I think that making it that limited, like the Wolf, whatever the fucking Wolf Covenant is in 3, the one that's limited to that shitty-ass bog that everyone hates except for Pat for some reason, who thinks this is the best thing ever. That is like the worst of all the Blighttown variants, or the Valley of Incest. Yeah, the Valley of Incest, that's what it is. Good job, Brain. There's no problem, guys. That's probably by far the worst out of all of them, because it is just misery to trudge through. Not because it's necessarily hard, it's just fucking annoying. And that's the worst thing that you can do to an area like that, is to intentionally be like, well, it's a Blighttown variant, it's gotta be annoying. That's the whole point. They're annoying. I hate them. So let's make it hateable. You don't want to do that. That's stupid. God damn it, I thought I just got one of them. Oh, you guys are just the worst. I need to get rid of at least one of these assholes. Okay, you walk off, please, sir. There we go. Oh, no, no, no. Oh. I can't... Well, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Summon him in. He's gonna get face-fucked by these dudes. Because there's no come here, you idiot, stop fighting button. You just have to hope. You have to hope that he actually survives. Come on, Slayer. No, what are you doing, buddy? Buddy. You already lost most of your health. What are you doing? Wait, where did he even go? Did he actually make it past them? Is he running up here to join us? Where is he? He is... No, 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 no. Why? I condemned him. Slayer, I'm so sorry. You were actually doing it correct. You were doing it so well, my sweet baby. Now he's just confused. Maybe he's just stupid. Come on, Slayer. Over here. I need you and your 2 health to help me. Yeah, looking good now, Slayer. No, don't. This way. I swear if I hear the phantom disappearing noise. Is he actually... He's just fucking fighting them. He's as angry as I am. He got one of them! I mean, that doesn't do us any good. The whole point of eliminating them in the first place was just so that we could actually use you in combat. So you're defeating the whole point of doing this. Ah, shit. Oh, wow, he actually interrupted him. How did you interrupt him? Can you actually poise break through that? That's amazing. Good job, Slayer. Sort of. I mean, you kind of ruined the whole point of why we were doing this, but alright. You have at least 1 hit of health in you. Watch what happens. We're gonna go inside this room, and that thing's gonna jump on top of me and kill me in 1 hit. That's exactly what's gonna happen. But anyways, to finish off my idea with covenants, that's a good way of looking at covenants. You don't want them to compete with one another. You want them to be designed in such a way that, like, don't limit them to one area if the area is the worst thing ever. Well, that's part of the reason why, like, the matchmaking is, oh, he just can't come this way. Is that what's going on? Part of the reason why that covenant did not work in Dark Souls 3 is just, where did he go? Where is he? What happened to Slayer? Is he trying to go all the way around? What the fuck? There he is. Slayer, did you kill yourself by jumping off this ramp over and over again? I'm gonna watch and see what you do. You come here. I can't believe... What are you doing, man? Okay, you come here. You just don't want to go past that door. Okay, see, this is what is happening. He gets confused. Yeah, he gets confused by this. This is technically a loading zone, so he doesn't know what to do. So let's just sit here and wait and see if we hear a noise. That's what we'll do. But that's what happened to that Covenant in 3. The actual area was so shit. Amazing. The actual area was such absolute dog shit that no one wants to use the damn thing. Plus, the matchmaking was awful. Like, people wanted to use it. And as an invader, you have the thrill of, oh, I get to... This is the whole thrill of being an invader. I get to be in an unfair scenario in which I'm the PvP guy that's decked it out for it, and the other guy isn't ready for it, doesn't know what he's doing, and I basically just get the face fucking. It's a free kill. It's not a free kill, absolutely, especially if they have help, but you get what I'm saying. So everyone wanted to use it, but the matchmaking was absolutely garbage. There's a very particular way that you need to... God damn it. There's a very particular way that you stand to try to... Don't do that! Fucking coward. God, it takes us so much to prevent him from doing that. So the matchmaking was also garbage. Look at that! See? See what I'm talking about? That shit being unfair? Look at that. I dodged that goddamn move, but because it has this lingering hitbox that does 1,000,000 damage to you, I took half my health anyways. Fuck that guy. That guy's a shithead. I can't stand that garbage. That one move is probably the only thing it has that I just have a major problem with. Just because it has that unfair element of, well, it hit you, but it didn't hit you, so therefore you take damage anyways. Fuck you, go to hell. That's what it said to me. I heard it. You guys didn't hear it? I heard it. It's awful. Okay. So, this is the things you want to look out for. In theory, like, there should be completely open matchmaking in some ways. Like, remember that idea that I had about what if you got summoned into, like, the bodies of basic enemies and you were allowed to control them? So as a result, because you were smarter than the actual AI is, that you could actually utilize them a bit better, and if you died as one, you leap into the body of another one, so forth and so on. That idea? In theory, with that, it doesn't matter if you're level 800 or not, and the guy you're invading is level 1. It would not matter, because all of your quote-unquote gear and abilities and so forth and so on are being set to the level that is deemed appropriate. So you don't even have to worry about it. So a Covenant like that would never have to worry about matchmaking one way or the other. But the more that you can minimize that, the better off you're going to be. Plus you have to worry about things like, oh, what's their gear level? In addition to what's their soul level? Oh, maybe their soul memory is the wrong thing because they spent a lot of their souls on disposable equipment like arrows and shit. And they didn't actually use most of them on levels, therefore you're fucking them and they're actually like level nothing. Oh yeah, I forgot about you. Wow, it took him a long time to get over here too. God, I'm just fucking all these up. There we go. Can't panic though. If you panic, you die. There we go. Okay. So there's a delicate balance with designing a Covenant. So whenever you have a Covenant that's designed around, everyone needs to be a specific SL. Like if you're designing it around, here's what their equipment is, here's what their equipment could be, and you're trying to work around that, you're kind of making a mistake. Or at least you're making a mistake in the first place of making it so easy for there to be differences in your game. Maybe the solution is just space swing. That's not the solution. Well, broke his poise. Please don't use that one jumping attack. You just have to be away from it. Just don't... Oh, for God's sakes. Such a fucking coward. That one... Yep, that one's gonna hit me. There's nothing to be done about it. You just... You just don't have enough room. They shouldn't have put him in here if they're gonna give him moves like that. There's no way around it. Okay, come on. Concentrate. Not really doing enough damage to him, honestly. I hate doing that, because if you're far enough to actually not be hit by it, then you're so far away that you actually have to sprint back to meet him. Ugh. There, got his poise. Alright, good. I'm not sure how many. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 3, 4. Your mother's a whore. That's what it is. There we go. Finally got him. God, what an ass. Imagine doing that with like a longsword or something. Oh, thank goodness. Just what I needed. Alright, let's pray at the altar of shit. That's what this is. Like these generic tapestries up here that don't mean anything. Oh, this is more like the altar to Google image searches for lazy art asset designers in Japan is what this actually is. Okay, but yeah, anyways. There's not much more to talk about in regards to Covenant design. You guys get the idea. There are certain things that you want to do and certain things that you don't want to do. It's just, it's fucking rough is what it is. Just that the Bell Ringer Covenant, whatever it is called exactly, is probably one of the better Covenants that they ever designed. Just in terms of the things that rewards, why you want to do it in the first place, the way that it matches you up in the first place, which is not perfect. It could be better. So, good Covenant all around. I was actually always encouraged to do that because I always wanted to upgrade equipment. So, to me, a very good reward for, as far as Dark Souls goes, is things like imagine if a Covenant rewarded a slab if you turned in X amount of something. You know, if it works sort of like that. But not every single Covenant, this is a problem Dark Souls has to revolve around PvP. Not every single one of them has to be, alright, you spawn in, you have a little animation where you spawn in out of the ground, you have all your shit on, go find the other guy and try to fight him. Like, so many Covenants revolve around that. And you could have so many more interesting things if you just stop obsessing over that one element. Like, that should be like like I've talked about before. That could just easily be, use the soapstone if you want to do that. Otherwise, it never happens. Like, it could easily be that, and it wouldn't be that bad. You would just disappoint the people that want to randomly invade people to inconvenience them because they're just like that. They're just... they're awful people. Anyways. Tell me what your favorite covenant is. Tell me what you think of my solution to mimics. I was actually kind of proud of that. Picking up an item that turns out to be like an anglerfish sort of mimic enemy. I think that's pretty neat. Because you get so used to like killing an enemy, walking over, oh, I'll just pick up everything that they just dropped, that you don't even notice that you're doing it. And you are being punished for being greedy. Although, I could see that being very stressful over time if the spawn rate is way too high. And you know what? There should be a visual distinction between them of some sort. Like, you know how there's a distinction between blue drops and yellow drops? It should be sort of like that. That you're just going through, you're just mashing, mashing, mashing. And then at the very last second you see, oh, that thing's not blue, it's like purple. Like it's something that's very close to where you're just fooled for a split second, but you can tell the difference. There'd probably be a better way of doing it. Although, people really enjoy like killing an enemy and then just mashing A and just picking up. Like, that's satisfying. So I could see not wanting to do that because it does ruin that sensation. And it makes it so that every single time you have to kill an enemy, it's like, alright, killed him. No, this one's fine. And you just have to do that through the whole game. I could see that being a complaint. That's the only one that I could really think of that would be major like that. Other than that, I think that's a fairly good solution. Anyways, you guys give me your thoughts on that. Alright, so next time I guess we'll try and fail miserably. Oh, this is going to go really badly. I don't even know how I'm going to... I know I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to use a Great Shield. That's probably how I'm going to have to deal with it. Because they're going to have a shit ton of health and they're going to like one-hit kill me with every single attack. So the only way I'm going to be able to pull this off is if I bring something like... I'm probably going to have to use the halberd, and I'm going to use that with the tower shield, probably, is the way that I'm going to have to do it. And I'm going to have to wear light armor so I can actually have enough distance from my rolls to get away from their attacks. That's one of those things where I'm talking about where this is the game that they designed, so I have to roll. Or Science Mo, you can do it without rolling, technically, although you need a very particular build, and you need to be very precise with exactly how you're moving and so forth and so on. So I will have to roll, so I'll probably have to drop down to light roll in some ways. Alright, anyways. This is what we'll be doing next time. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this one. Go away! Everyone go away now. So long, Freelid. You got it, baby. Oh, now the re-render. That's stupid fucking video. I can't believe that happened. Fuck me.